what made you move into working in the intuitive eating or using the intuitive eating approach with clients?
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a long journey, I suppose. Like most dietitians, we actually don't learn intuitive eating at uni. We very much learn it a little bit more of a weight central dieting sort of approach. So that initially was the type of work that I did. And just over time, I started to feel increasingly just more uncomfortable with it. I felt like for a lot of my clients, it was maybe too restrictive, and a lot of the time people would feel really guilty about food and really beat themselves up about food, and when they felt like they did the wrong thing. And often clients were in this, quite vicious dieting cycle, and it was, me wanting to help them. I really tried, given more advice, but it was just that I didn't have the right tools to help them sort of break out of this dieting cycle. And then just by chance, I came across a non-diet approach course for dietitians. And my eyes were open, and there was no turning back. I couldn't work any other way.
Yeah, I totally get it. My journey was a little bit different because I was in the hospital system, and we were seeing, getting lots of referrals for weight loss, which I never enjoyed doing, and I couldn't really put my finger on what it was until later. And then when I left the hospital system and went into private practice, I realised that, oh wow, I'm actually going to have to, embrace seeing weight loss clients because we get so many referrals. And then I hated it. I really hated it, and I was feeling really stuck. And so I think just by chance, I came across a podcast. Yeah, maybe a little bit like you. You did the course, but I came across a podcast and was reading about this idea of health at every size. I'm like, what is that? That sounds wrong. I don't know. I don't get it. But I listened to the podcast. It was the Mindful Dietitian podcast. And I was just like, wow, this really speaks to me. This feels right. This idea of, just putting a weight to the side and focusing on, let's be well nourished. Let's pursue health if that's, what we want to do, and look at eating through the lens of health. And after that, same thing. No turning back. It's like, all right, this is the way I need to do this. And so that's from that day on. I mean, it was a learning process to be able to have the language and the be able to explain that to clients. But once you kind of see it, you can't unsee it.
I felt the same, and like you said, it is a learning process, because not only is it going a little bit against maybe what we learn at uni or how we've been practicing up until that point, but it's also very different to just the culture that we live in, diet culture, and these dieting messages, they're all around us. So it's a lot of, well, for me anyway, a lot of unlearning what that is and learning a different approach around food for clients.
And even learning that, like, once you look at it from that different perspective, you actually start to see it more and more, how much those messages are just everywhere, whether it's social media or conversations that you're having with people, who are, on diets, or the comments that you hear people make to other people who have been on a diet and lost weight. Oh, you look so good, and then not realising what pressure that then puts on that person. And it's just a complete you just look at everything differently.
It's actually really hard to escape.
Absolutely. But I feel like the other thing for me is that what made doing the weight loss work so difficult was that it was that restrictive nature of it, and that really went against my I guess my values as a person in wanting to support people and give and provide options that feel good. And weight loss dieting was all about the taking away. And that's, you know, sets up, or felt to me like it set up a negative relationship between me and my clients, that they're coming to me to police what they're doing because this is hard to do, right, and keep doing. And so I'm the one that's got to be, you know, okay, no, you know, you did that and we've got to try this differently, you know, with all the best intentions. But it just was a real mismatch for me and my values.
Like, we aren't the food police.
No.
Well, for me anyway, I love food, and I, you know, want my clients to, you know, maybe not everyone will get there and, you know, love food in the same way, but hopefully get to a point of not it feeling so hard and, you know, worrying and not something to feel guilty about. So I think for me, that's another part of what drew me to this approach is, you know, there's more chance of someone improving their relationship with food and hopefully along the way starting to enjoy food.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I guess stands out for me now, knowing what I've learned along the way about the Health at Every Size framework and the intuitive eating approach, is that we don't want to do harm to people. And without realizing it, I look back on my, you know, early years as a dietitian and go, oh my gosh, what harm have I done by taking people down a diet path? You know, the effect that can have on mental health, and, you know, the flow into physical health. That, you know, we know that intuitive eating and non-diet approach is about supporting the whole human and certainly not doing harm. And of course, nobody ever sets out to do harm, but it's, you don't know what you don't know.
And I think that's the thing as well, is the harms of dieting and the diet cycle, they aren't spoken about, you know. The risks and the harms are really quite significant, you know. Increased risk of eating disorders or disordered eating, affecting relationship with food, sort of that weight cycling, so someone's weight going up and down, and
what physical effect that has on the body, metabolic effect that has on the body as well.
Exactly. So you know, people, and rightly so, we're surrounded by diets. People, you know, take on, you know, diets wanting to feel better, because that's how we're taught to feel better, to change our body, and to do that we go on a diet. But we don't, then we're not told about the harms. So, and yeah, like you said, Tania, like, no one ever wants to intentionally cause harm. It's just that what we don't know, we don't know.
You just made me think of something. It's just left my brain.
Was it about diet?
Probably. Yeah, it's gone. All right. Okay.